Hello everyone and welcome to part 40 of my F1 Challenge Career Mode. Today we're heading to Monte-Carlo, Monaco, for the Monaco Grand Prix. The jewel of the F1 calendar. I can't wait to race this. I've won for the past 2 seasons and they've both been absolutely hectic. The next race is Canada, so like this video if you want that to come out as soon as possible. But anyhow, I shall now hand you over to the commentator.
Just before the free practice session begins, let's take a quick look at the Drivers' Championship. Schumacher is running away with the Drivers' Championship. David Coulthard, second. Montoya, third. Well, that covers the drivers. Let's take a quick look at the Constructors next. Ferrari lead the Constructors' Championship and arrive here with an unprecedented run of victories. McLaren are second. Williams are third. Located within the urban setting of Monte-Carlo, the claustrophobic Monaco street circuit is essentially a never-ending chicanes with no margin for error. Whilst the jewel in Formula One's crown makes for a truly glamorous sponsor-friendly spectacle, it is very much an anachronism in today's safety-orientated era.
So we start with practice, which was mainly at the beginning just trying to stop myself hitting the walls, as you can see just there, because obviously it's very easy just to go off one of the corners, hit the rear wing, and of course that's the entire run over. But I did manage to have good pace. You see Juan Pablo Montoya set at 122.7, and we're going to beat that just with a 122.6, and then later on in the session we actually improved to 22.0, and this is just to show how much of an advantage I had over the AI, because I come across the line to a 21.7, which none of the AI could even get close to. Juan Pablo Montoya I think stayed in second as I had a little spin. But then we move on into qualifying, which this is interesting because I normally pull up to have like a practice start, and I did. Then I crept forward and it said that I exited the pits under red and I've got a penalty, and I was thinking, do they have grid penalties in this game? I mean, I know there's in-race penalties, obviously, we've had them before, but I've never seen that before, so we'll see if we get a penalty. But I managed to do 22.1 on my first lap, which might be good enough for pole, but you can see I'm half a second up on my fourth lap. I'm going to go across the line now to do a 121.6, which is a really good lap time. That's fast in the session. Now I'm going to hand you over to the grid.
Hello there. Welcome to Monte-Carlo for round 7 of the 2001 FIA Formula One World Championship. The weather, as so often is the case here, is just wonderful. Over 30 degrees and climbing. It's a fantastic day for Formula One. The BAR driver starts his race from first. Mika Häkkinen, second. Schumacher, third. Coulthard, fourth. Montoya, fifth. Rubens Barrichello, sixth. Irvine, seventh. Jarno Trulli, 8th. Schumacher failed to get anywhere near the pace of his championship rival, the BAR driver. Kimi Räikkönen, 10th. Nick Heidfeld, 11th. Villeneuve was way off the pace of his teammate. He starts in 12th. Alesi, 13th. Giancarlo Fisichella, 14th. Jos Verstappen, 15th. Heinz-Harald Frentzen, 16th. Pedro de la Rosa, 17th. Luciano Berti, 18th. Bernaldi, 19th. Jenson Button, 20th. Alonso, 21st. Marquez, 22nd.
Strap yourselves in for what looks like it's going to be an exciting Monaco Grand Prix as a BAR starts on pole, but we have the lights here in Monaco. Lights out and away we go, and Mika Häkkinen's got a best start, and so has Michael Schumacher. He's managed to overtake us in third place as we head into the first corner, and our front wings caught to Michael Schumacher's rear right, and we've spun him round, nearly spun round ourselves, and Mika Häkkinen goes off in the distance. David Coulthard has made it through that chaos of the first corner that I imagine I made, but here you can see the start, and Michael Schumacher actually should have gone into the lead if there was a gap there, but I went down the inside, just caught his rear right, and there was nowhere for me to go. He spun round, and you can see at the back that people just about got through. David Coulthard, Ralf Schumacher and the rest managed to get through relatively undamaged. I mean, a couple of cars went out at the start. I believe Frentzen did. and I believe Truly did maybe, I can't quite remember now. But you can see that I spun Michael Schumacher around. You can see that the traffic jam he was causing. He decided to then drive into the wall and then decide that he didn't like that Sauber very much. I don't think he likes Nick Heidfeld, Michael Schumacher. But he did carry on. So we'll see what happens to him, because he does carry on. And you can see here these two cars, the Prost and the Benetton, decides to do a little bit of wall riding, which is strange. But Eddie Irvine knocks himself out. The first bit of the race, having a massive accident there with Ralf Schumacher. Juan Pablo Montoya on the next lap crashes into the wall. This race is going to be like this, I'm afraid. Jacques Villeneuve crashes into the first corner again. And Arrows here overtaking a Ferrari, because Rubens Barrichello, if you note, didn't have a front wing. You want to keep a note of that to spot how many times he takes off his front wing during this race. But as you can see, we close down to Mika Häkkinen on lap 2. Can we get him into the downhill left-hand corner, which I've just forgotten the name of? No, we can't. We're not close enough, but we're going to line ourselves up for a better run. But he's hit the wall and we've hit his rear wing, and now that means we're going to have a pit stop, and Mika Häkkinen's out of the race. So that knocks out one of the fastest cars in the race. Not my fault at all, though, because he did hit the wall and I had nowhere to go. I mean, I did jump on the brakes, but it didn't happen. And then for some reason BAR decided to double their workforce in this pit stop, just get everyone on the pits, make sure my car's okay. But I leave and I run over the front jackman, and David Coulthard is in lead by a long way, which I was worrying about, because Jos Verstappen, the Arrows, are second, and I believe Bernoldi third eventually, but it was Nick Heidfeld and Raikkonen at the moment. But the Arrows run for a long time in a 2-3 arrangement. Fernando Alonso and the Minardi's doing well. See Ralf Schumacher goes for an overtake, but Fernando Alonso but says, no, you're heading into the wall, you can go by yourself. The Fernando Alonso decides, yep, I'm faster than Marquez, I'm going to overtake him. You want to keep an eye on the Minardis. Rubens Barrichello, as I said, knocks off his front wing. Marquez has a crash, knocks off his front wing, caused a traffic jam right in the middle of the track with Michael Schumacher involved. Rubens Barrichello decides, thank you very much, and takes the position. David Coulthard up front, meanwhile, knocks off his rear wing before I even catch up to him, and he's out of the race. And then Michael Schumacher, just a couple laps later, knocks himself out of the race. This is very, it's quite a concurrent theme, as Ralf Schumacher takes himself out of the race. And I'm just going to skip on to lap 13, because you'll see that I am leading comfortably, as in 41 seconds to Jos Verstappen in the Arrows. Unfortunately, Jos Verstappen retired because of a brake failure, which is a shame, really, because most of the AI were crashing into every wall, but he didn't actually do that. He just had a brake failure. But you can see here Rubens Barrichello knocking off his front wing, trying to overtake the Minardis. And again, he literally always trying to overtake the Minardis during this race, and he couldn't get past. Then when he did, he just crashed into the wall. You see, knocks off his front wing. And it was just ridiculous the amount of times Rubens Barrichello had a crash. And as you can see, on lap 25 from my pit stop, I had an entire lap lead over Fernando Alonso and the Minardi. That's how dominant I was, and how tedious this race was to race, because I was about 7 seconds a lap faster than Minardi's. But we leave the pits, and of course we are going to resume in first place. It's unlikely we're going to be there for a pit stop. But right near the end of the race, Rubens Barrichello knocks himself out of the race. So that leaves just me and the two Minardis as I lap Fernando Alonso again, so my lead goes up to 2 laps. But ultimately that's all that happens in this race, and I have to put my hats off to the Minardi of Fernando Alonso, who finished in second place his debut season, and Marquez, who also finishes third. The Minardis are back, and we're going to come across the line here to get a victory here in Monaco, a deserved victory, our first victory of the season.
At the end of an unbelievable Monaco Grand Prix, here are the final results. The BAR driver first, Alonso second, Marquez third.
A crazy, crazy race then comes to an end here in Monaco. Just 3 finishers. As you can see, almost everyone DNFing except some electronics and some brakes. But I won by a couple of laps, which is just unbelievable. But we'll now look at the Drivers' Championship, where I imagine I gained lots of points over my competitors.
With the results confirmed, it's high time we updated the Drivers' Championship. Michael Schumacher first.
So I managed to jump Ralf Schumacher in the standings. Fernando Alonso moves up to 8th place, which is just sensational. So I gain a lot of points over the top runners, so maybe I can challenge them in the championship. Too many maybes there.
Ferrari increase their lead at the top of the Constructors' Championship. McLaren are second, whilst third place is held by Williams.
Here we have it with the constructors. Minardi moving up to 5th place. We caught a lot of points up on Williams there, so it'll be interesting to see whether we can keep up any of that momentum. But next race is Canada, so I really hope you enjoy this video. Like it if you did, leave a comment about what you thought of the race. Monaco is always one of these races which is throws up everything and tends to be a bit random on this game. But I really hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time for Canada.